gonna move on to the first article. The first article today, the ESA, they have confirmed that E3 is going to be an all virtual event this year. It is going to go on from June 12th to the 15th. No specifics were made about the format style of the show, probably live streaming or pre-recorded keynotes and announcements. From Game Informer, they have a list of what ESA has confirmed to be attending E3, which is Nintendo, Microsoft, Capcom, Konami, Ubisoft, Take Two, Warner Brothers, and Koch Media. I have no idea what that is.
Crotch media.
Koch. And then nothing, no word from Sony yet. So I'm wondering, with this news, what are your thoughts on E3 still going on after many thought that the expo was going to be gone even before the pandemic even hit? And let's start with just that question first. Kevin.
What
Can
was
you
the
repeat the
question
question
one
one
more
more
time?
time?
So,
See, okay.
what are your
You know,
thoughts? What are your thoughts on E3 still popping up now? Even though everybody thought that E3 was gonna die even before the pandemic hit, since like Sony backed out and they weren't making enough money.
uh, I don't know. I kind of it's weird to say, but I don't really watch E3 like itself. I just like kind of look around Twitter and everything for notifications of anything that I'm interested in. But it's I mean it's there. It's like I don't know. I don't feel any way about it. I feel strange. Like it's I don't. It's not that I don't care, but I don't really care
But
as
you don't
much.
care.
Yeah, I care, but I don't care.
Have you
But
ever
yeah,
cared before? So you never watched an E3 really? You
I've
didn't really
never
bug
seen an
you?
E3. I've nah, because everything that I want to know, like if it's something like that I'm following, then I'll probably just wait for the announcement of it and then like whatever. But
Yeah.
as of recent, no, because most of the time when E3 was going on, I was working, so I never actually caught E3.
Okay. Danny.
Um, I think I am. I'm not surprised that E3 is still trying to do it. I mean, I'm sure they know they can save some money by doing it virtually versus
Yeah.
having to do a venue where you can't get as many big like PlayStation, Xbox, or these people that come through, whatever it is. The people who are now gonna do their own expos.
No more
And I
booths to
think that's the
buy.
big thing. Yeah, I mean, you'll get a lot of the. I mean, there is still money in the electronics aspects of it because E3 originally wasn't all about just video games. It was about electronics and the new big electronic things. It just so happened to be the biggest electronics that usually makes the most money are computers and video games, obviously. So they dominate it because But um, I think overall, I think they are gonna see that they can't make a venue anymore because they won't get the big giant PlayStation venue to come anymore because PlayStation is going to be doing their own. Same thing for Xbox and Disney because Disney used to come up to those things too and,
Yeah.
and promote their stuff, but they're not going to do that anymore because they're
Well,
promoting that they
Microsoft
have
is
their
going to
own.
be there.
Well, I think eventually a lot of these guys are going to be breaking off, and they're going to
I
do their
see
own.
it happening. Nintendo already got
That's fine.
Nintendo Direct as well, so they kind of do their own thing
Exactly.
on the side
So,
too.
so they're all going to do it. Again, so it's an E3 can't officially have it as big as they used to have it. They can save a lot of money by doing it online only and getting smaller things or whatever other things that people might want to promote. And maybe even bring it back to just computer and electronics and bring it back the way it used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what started it all, but at the end of the day,
Vandy, what about you?
Like Kevin, I never watched E3. Also, fucking, he's been playing with his monkey the whole time on stream.
I saw it too. Yeah.
Yeah.
And people who are just listening to audio, they're probably just wondering what the hell does he mean by that.
not exactly what it
Exactly
sounds
what I
like.
said. See, whatever the listener thinks, that's on their mind.
That's exactly what's
Yeah,
happening.
that's their conscience, not mine. But yeah, no, I don't really
So you
watch
don't care
E3.
much?
No, I mean that it was gonna be a thing. It was gonna be a thing regardless. I'm pretty sure that like Sober Guardian had said to have a venue, it's not gonna be possible for like quite a while. Having all those people like around, it's not gonna be a thing. That they're doing it virtually, like yeah, that's still pretty cool. Um, it might be a bitch if they're gonna be like, hey, don't like if it's paid to attend, then no one's gonna want to like kind of do it. I guess on their own. If anything, they could just like watch somebody else stream it because that's probably gonna happen.
Yeah.
Um, but I mean, hopefully Sony shows up. I don't know. I can't say like hopefully to anything. Uh, cool that they're keeping it up, I guess, in whatever way that they can. All I know is that it's been a thing for like a long ass time, so kudos to them for keeping it alive.
Yeah.
I was looking up the Crotch Media though, and their roster. It's interesting. So they have Saints Row the Third, Saints Row
Ah.
4, Metro, Hunt
Ooh,
Showdown,
Metro. Okay.
Rust. Yeah, you're gonna be like up and down with this as well. They have the Sacred series. They have Let's Sing 2020 and 2021.
Oh
Let's
yeah.
Sing Queen. They also did Maneater. That short game
Oh,
we
I
were
like
playing.
that game. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep. What else did they do? They did Stalker Clear Sky, which was good. They did Tropico 6. What else
Oh,
was here?
they did a lot of well-known games then. I mean, not all of them are like blockbuster hits, but yeah, they're all
Exactly.
well-known games.
They
Okay.
did Prison Break, the game.
Yeah.
Fucking what else was another one that I saw here?
Really?
Yeah. WSC Real 11 World Snooker Cup.
What?
Yeah.
What?
A pool game.
Oh.
Oh,
They did
That's a
Cooking
pool
Mama
term?
Cookstar. Snooker?
Yeah.
Snooky? Whatever.
Snooky?
I was.
But
I was
I
about
think that their crowning jewel has to be Ride to Hell Retribution.
Right to hell.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that.
That's
Oh.
funny.
So let's see what they announce. Maybe a sequel to Ride to Hell?
Yeah.
Redemption?
Cross
Right,
your
Hell
fingers.
Redemption.
Cross your fingers. Yeah, sure.
I mean, they have
Okay,
like a lot of
so
other things, obviously, but just either way, like whatever comes out of it, comes out of it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I agree. I'm not crazy because the thing is with me is like when E3 used to come out before like YouTube was a huge thing. I used to always watch the E3 week. Like what was the channel, Danny? They had like on Spike TV and also was it GTV? We used to
Tech
watch that
TV,
shit.
and
Yeah,
then
Tech
Tech
TV,
TV, and then
which turned
became
into
GT,
GTV.
GeForce.
Yeah, G4,
GeForce.
G4, that's what it was. So like we used to watch that stuff on TV all the time, but now that like YouTube is a big thing, when E3 came out, I just waited for like the flood of YouTube videos of all the like the announcements used to come out and never even bothered watching the actual thing live. So it's like at this point that's probably what's going to happen the same thing too. Not many people are really going to care about the streams. They're just going to wait for a clip of whatever announcement that they're interested in, whatever that might be.
But that makes,
for
but you gotta realize
Microsoft or
that that
Nintendo or
makes,
something.
but that makes them just as much money as if you
Oh
watch
yeah.
your stream.
Well, actually no, because the clips come from granted it could be from an E3 channel and it could
Yeah.
make the money that way, but majority of what I watch specifically, I can only speak for myself with this, but I watch it on IGN, I watch it on Game Informer, I watch it on my gaming channels. They're the ones making the money off of releasing those clips on their channel, not E3.
But the one of the a story came out about Jay Leno when Jay Leno retired of the Tonight Show. They wanted to make more up to date and more clickbait. Like
Yeah.
one of the things that did Jimmy Fallon, like nobody really watches the Tonight Show anymore. They watch the YouTube
clips,
of
yeah.
the Tonight Show. They watch the clips, and everything he does is giant clickbait. Just so they can make stupid clips and keep it going. That's how, and that's what they want. That's their plan. And I think there is, if that's a method that they're going for, that everybody else should probably do something similar. And if YouTube or E3 says, "Hey, look, you watch our stream," at least we're getting tons of people watching. You might not be watching now, but you will be. So so as long as people are watching, it doesn't matter how or where. That's the day and age. We're in the day and age of record it now and watch it later, or watch
Yeah.
it a bit later.
Yeah, true. It might work out that way. It might work. It might not. I'm all for it regardless because I look forward to E3 just because it's like a mass week of just all the best shit that we're expecting for the next like 5 years. So that gets me excited. Do you guys?
And
Yeah.
I think also what's cool is that it's not just because everything's clickbait, because everything is like, oh, we have to get the most. Capcom has to put something out because they're gonna get the most views because of their thing. Nobody watches the stream through and through, and then later on goes back and be like, yeah, I love the stream, but Capcom was my favorite. They hear about Capcom being releasing something badass, and then everybody
Now go and
watches
look
and it
for it.
floods, and
Yeah.
it goes, and they go and look for that one thing because they heard about how great Final Fantasy, whatever it is,
Hmm.
Uh, I have a question. Is other than E3, what's like another like thing that happens like that I
There's
forget?
PAX East that comes out.
Mm-hmm.
There's Penny
Comic
Arcade.
Con.
Comic Con does. Comic Con does also.
Yeah,
Comic-Con.
yeah.
Fucking Penny Arcade. God damn
Yeah,
it.
yeah. That's
But
that's
even
old school.
Comic Con is probably equal to E3, where people are pulling themselves from Comic Con. Like Disney is not. Disney was the one. They don't really go to E3. They go to Comic, and
Yeah.
they pulled themselves from Disney because they're doing. And a lot of people are going to be eventually. They see the money in it. They see the money in the comic. Where back in the day, it was just people like us who would go see it because we were super fans, and there was no real big internet. So you would have to go to those cons, or you would have to go to E3 convention because that's the only way you're going to find out about new technology and games.
What sucks? What
In the
sucks
days
with
of dial-up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks for that.
Back in my day.
Before when everyone like mentioned the website and they were like www dot.
No, HTTPS :
Yeah.
//
No one said the HTTPS part. It would always be
You had to
make sure
back
visit
then.
us at-
You had to back then.
You had to
You
write
had
it, yeah.
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 No,
I
just
look.
don't.
Yeah.
Listen, I stepped away from the conversation for like 10 seconds, and I thought you guys were throwing spells at each other. I'm like, what?
Yeah. The thing I was gonna mention, the thing with E3 is that for the longest time E3 was press only, so people couldn't even go down there to see things personally themselves. By the way, to answer your question also, Kevin, about other things with game announcements, is Tokyo Game Show as well, which I went through before. It was
No,
fucking
that's a big
amazing.
one. That's a really big one.
Good one.
But
That's
Humble
actually
brag.
like, I think
but
that's
hold on,
bigger than
but
game.
hold on,
bigger
but
than E3.
yeah, but to go back to my thought, it was E3 was only for press, so they eventually released it for open to the public, but it only lasted maybe like 3 years or 4 years, I believe, and then the pandemic hit, and then everything just went downhill afterwards.
But I think within those 3 years, people realize the amount of money you can make off of people, and what if they lock E3 down back to the press and leave, PlayStation has theirs, and then PlayStation obviously going to make it open, Xbox, and it's tons of money, so much money in merchandise, and swag, and all this bullshit overpriced stuff you can
I
sell.
don't know, because
that
Sony's
people
doing.
buy.
No, actually, not even Sony, but I would say Nintendo is doing a lot well, doing digital on themselves, doing Nintendo Directs almost every week or every 2 weeks or so.
And the thing that I find interesting about that is because I know I'm gonna take my shot later, but Evo does that. So it's like, so if I like want to find out something about a new fighting game or a new character or anything that's coming out, I just wait for Evo, and that's usually like the end of the year. So I don't really E3 Tokyo Game E3 I don't really care for. Tokyo Game Show I watch, but I don't know. Like it's gonna be hard. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying, but that's exactly what I'm saying. Is that there's going to be a niche. I was using PlayStation as an example, but the ESPN, the people who just love ESPN, there's gonna be one for just fighting it, just baseball, just basketball, and eventually they're gonna have, and people are gonna go because there are millions of people who are involved and love each and every one of these categories separately like that. Like,
So,
I'll go to a Final Fantasy one the same way you'll go to a Evo one,
Yeah. So, do you guys have any predictions on anything in E3 that you want to be announced? Expecting anything
So,
you think that
I'll
they'll
go
talk
first.
about? Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go first because I don't want Kevin to take a shot alone. Kingdom Hearts 4 announcement.
A Kingdom
Yeah,
Hearts
no,
4.
no Kingdom Hearts 4.
You don't think it's too soon for that?
Well,
I
no,
don't
wait,
think it's
actually,
soon
no.
enough.
To be fair, I think there was like an article or like some announcement like before that because they had to scrap their initial Kingdom Hearts 3.
Uh-huh.
They
Wait.
redid it in
Go back.
Unreal.
What do you mean they had to scrap
The-
3?
Okay, so basically like because they changed it to the Unreal Engine, they had to like kind of get rid of all the assets that they had already made for the original 3. So in making that change, they already have more than enough things to use for 4. So it's more of like figuring out how the story's gonna go, and they're obviously gonna still like reuse some of the animations.
Yeah.
That's totally fine. That's understandable. No like issue against that or anything. But instead of it being such a long wait like it was for 2 to 3, it might be within like the next 2 years, I think. Because this came out like last year, if I'm not mistaken. I have to find it again, but either way, like
Okay, but you're
uh,
saying that because they're probably using the same engine and resources, they're gonna knock one out a lot quicker.
yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Because
And
the engine
2022
for
would be
2,
their 20th anniversary too.
Oh,
so
really?
it could work out that
Mhm.
way.
Yeah,
Okay, that makes
that'd
sense.
be awesome.
Because
Trust me,
it's like it would have
I'm a
been
big fan
weird
of
Seven
had
it. I
they
years.
can't wait.
actually it
No,
would
no,
have been
no.
weird if they actually like reuse the same engine from 2 for 3.
Because the game did like you probably know obviously do know more than me, but the game did feel like they cut out a lot, and that does all make sense.
Oh no, of
And if they
course.
were to add it back in and to make it perfectly that,
Wait, so I
you
have
know,
sorry for cutting you off, Dan. I just wanted to ask a question before I forget it. So you're saying that they used the same engine as 2 for 3, and then they scrapped it and then made 3 its own thing?
It was the same engine for 2 for initial 3, the one that was like released like the trailer fucking years ago.
Mm.
That's also why like you kind of don't see Sora fighting the Heartless Wave
Yeah.
in, I think it was like the
One
Olympus
of the
map
old
that they first
trailers.
announced it in. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
because you don't do that whole riding thing until the very end of the game on the wave of Keyblades instead.
hmm
Um,
Mm.
but yeah, no, so they didn't use the engine for 2. They did it into the Unreal Engine. That's why everything looks like so gummy-esque and like shiny and edible. But
Mm.
um, they had to like rebuild the game from bottom up.
Mm.
Okay. Kevin, any predictions for you?
So, well, I have a
Uh,
question for
wait.
Kingdom
Danny was saying
Hearts.
something. I didn't want to
Yeah.
cut him
Yeah,
off.
I have a Kingdom Hearts question. I know we get this
No,
now,
no, don't get him
but
started.
no, I have to,
No, no,
this
it's
is
fine.
from
I can
my.
answer it. I can answer it. I can answer it.
It's
I can answer
partially
it.
because it's part of my thing. Why was the Square Enix or Final Fantasy aspects pulled from this game versus the
Oh,
parts
part
had the
3.
combination
Yeah.
had the
Okay.
combination of it.
Okay. So primarily they did not want to focus strictly on Final Fantasy character, like it being a Final Fantasy game. They wanted like Kingdom Hearts to be its own series and mainly Final Fantasy to be like in the world, but not the main focus of the world. Because Kingdom Hearts is a big game, especially because of all the Disney characters and movies that they use. They didn't want to use or rely too much on Final Fantasy, since everybody knows Final Fantasy. But that's from what I've been seeing and when I played
I'm sure it's a
is
licensing nightmare as well for the
oh, it's
Disney and
horrible.
Final Fantasy stuff. I mean, I know it's still Square Enix helping, but like,
It's Square
just
Enix. It can't be
still,
that hard of a
it's just
aspect. I
fitting
mean, they made all
fitting
those
everything
parts and
in.
games and card. They made all those card games, all those DS, every little aspect. They always had some Final Fantasy element. This was
Mhm.
completely cut off.
No, that's very
And
true.
I would love the next game to be just that aspect.
Because I
Yeah.
think the last time that like Square Enix really had their characters involved was Dream Drop. Because with
Mhm.
that one,
Yeah.
Traverse Town was The World Ends With You. And in 0.2, you only play as Aqua going through the first set of worlds in Birth by Sleep. But even in Birth by
hmm
Sleep, you had in Hercules, you fought in the tournament. It was like young Hercules with a young Zack Fair as
Yeah.
the
Oh,
person that was in.
right.
You know how you fought like
Yeah.
Sephiroth and Cloud in Kingdom Hearts 1.
hmm
So obviously,
Mhm.
like they were gonna bring like kid Zack Fair into that. Um, I think that's as far as it went though for Final Fantasy in terms of like Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep. Um,
Dream Drop
yeah, no,
Distance.
no, because Dream Drop again, they only had The World Ends With You. Aside from it was Pinocchio. They had Tron with, realistic looking Jeff Bridges in it.
Yeah.
What else was
Okay.
there?
Okay.
They
Hold
had
on. All right. All right.
All right.
Let's
But
let's go
anyways,
on. Let's go
no,
on.
no. But the point is, Final Fantasy stopped being like involved in it from like Birth by Sleep. So yeah,
Mm.
which I don't understand why I took it out, but that's a conversation for another day. But
Yeah.
yeah, thank you, Kevin.
Back to predictions. Kevin, anything for you?
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sephiroth are gonna attack.
Attack on Titan 3 for the PS5. Let's go. Let's get it going.
Is that something you want?
Yeah, because actually no. What I would actually
What
want,
was
what I would
that?
actually,
There was 1 and 2. I didn't even know there was a game 1 and 2.
no,
Yeah,
there
no,
was
it's
Good
one.
anyway.
I feel like
you
one
know,
one's pretty good. It feels really
Uh,
amazing.
yeah.
okay, so what I really want is I'm gonna have to take another shot for it is Marvel vs. Capcom 4,
Oh god.
and that nightmare, and that is a boy, that is a licensing
They got a lot of redeeming to do.
impossibility. Yeah,
You know
it's an
that it's not going to be
impossibility.
the same though, right? Because Disney,
Oh,
like, they
no,
they
not at all.
they put their hands in it, so you can't get MVC2 anymore. Basically,
Yeah,
they're
no,
like, "Hey, we own Marvel now. We don't want our
or one.
property, our new property, to
Well,
be like involved in all these fucking fights and shit."
here's the
Like,
thing though too with Marvel vs. Capcom 3, they had this issue of licensing because Fox owned like the X-Men stuff, which is a lot of the reason why they didn't have X-Men and MV3. But now that Disney does own, right, they own the X-Men back and everything, maybe they could bring it back to its original glory.
they're not going to though, because if they wanted to, then two would still be around. 2 and
Mhm.
1 would still be a thing. But again, they don't want their property to be involved in these fights anymore. Like, because it's not as graphic. Well, okay, Kingdom Hearts isn't as graphic as well, I'm throwing graphic in quotes, as Marvel's Capcom would be, because you have like Wolverine doing that super where he slashes the ever living shit out of you, and to them they're gonna be like, oh no, we're Disney, we care about this. Meanwhile, you have fucking what is it, Falcon and Winter Soldier, where they, like, the only curse word they could say is shit, and they say it like 3 times an episode, if anything. So I mean, like,
Wait,
yeah,
I don't, I
real
don't, I
kid
don't
friendly.
think,
hold
I
up.
don't think that's a
Ho-
thing because they're gonna have Deadpool, which is a rated R series anyways, and they're keeping it rated R. So they're trying to touch on more adult stuff.
Yeah, especially with
Yes,
the,
but
the
they're
It's
coming
weird how
out
they're
with a
going
whole.
about it, though.
Say
But
that again,
they're coming
Randy.
out. Disney is.
No, I said yeah, but it's weird how they're going about it though, because
Yeah,
again, like, why pull those two games, which are iconic as shit, from ever being fucking purchased again?
maybe they have their reasons. I really don't know. I mean, you could be right. It could be because they're being cautious about it, but maybe there's another corporate reason for it that we don't know about. Danny, you were saying something?
Disney is going more adult. They're gonna have their Disney After Dark type series. They're
Ooh,
releasing. There literally is. I know that sounds like a nice fucking point at Disney.
it's like
Anyway,
Skinamax, but with Disney
like
characters, right?
Skinemax.
Disney character. Imagine what Pinocchio
Disney
can do.
Max.
Oh my god,
Lie to
he
me, lie to
lies
me.
left and right. That's it.
um, um,
He'll be on par with Danny, right?
Oh man.
so, but they are coming out with more grown up aspect. They are doing this, like I said, that Disney After Dark, where it's about villains and things like that. They're doing more the Star Wars and the Deadpool and things that is more not just, Pinocchio and all this crazy stuff. And they know that they have to eventually start doing it, but they're gonna call it. I think they're supposed to call it something else, and they're gonna like test it out or whatever in Japan, I think, or China first,
Yeah.
where things are more sensitive over there because they have whatever.
They
But
got to know their boundaries.
exactly. So once they start doing that, and they can almost separate it, but like, yes, this is still Disney, and they can call it Disney whatever, Disney A or Disney,
Disney
Adult,
plus
whatever
plus.
they're gonna call it.
Well, no, I got
Yeah,
you. I got you.
and they can
Remember
separate
how
that
there
and
was
then have
Disney
that
XD?
world.
What'd you say?
Yeah,
remember
So
how there
remember
was
how there was Disney
Disney
XD?
XD?
yeah, which
Yeah.
was supposed to
Disney
be
XXXD, right?
that'd be good, yeah.
Okay, so we got Marvel vs. Capcom 3. We have Kingdom Hearts 4. Danny, any predictions for you?
No, I really
Abe's
don't.
Odyssey remastered.
Can I make a prediction for Danny then?
Okay.
Yeah,
Outriders
Destiny
2.
3.
What?
I would say Outriders 2. Just throw the
Because
game out.
only games I would look forward to are be Final Fantasy and things like that. I don't think Square gonna have it. If anything, they do it at the
They got
Tokyo
that
show.
Project Athia, which they renamed something else. I forgot what it was already. They got that going on right now.
Yeah, I mean they might show something off on that because they're still trying to show that off a little bit, and
Yeah.
they did show that footage not too long ago. But I think again the only big thing I think they would have would be the new Final Fantasy game showing some kind of footage from that, and that's it. I mean,
Since they got Nintendo there, I'm honestly hoping it's been about 3 or 4 years maybe that they announced Metroid Prime 4, and I think they're gonna really like solidify like what's been going on with the silence with that. So I think Metroid is gonna be an announcement.
Oh, so you're a believer?
I'm a believer.
You're a believer. Okay.
And then the
So you
fact
saw
that
her face.
Konami is coming back for the gaming shit after that whole pachinko bullshit and stuff. I think they're gonna announce either another Silent Hill or Metal Gear franchise reboot or some shit like that.
Silent Hill. Silent Hill would be a great, like, if I had to like pick something, Silent Hill. If they re-released or did something with yeah, because I've heard a lot of
Uh,
that would
Yeah.
be awesome.
I was gonna ask that question if you wanted a remaster or a new thing. And but you answered the question already. So
I mean,
Sober Guardian.
I would honestly like a Metal. I mean, granted, I would like a Silent Hill first. Like, I would really, whether it be like a reboot or a sequel, I don't care as long as it's go back to horror roots, something similar to what Kojima did with that PT demo shit.
Demo.
But
Yeah.
if Konami did do a Metal Gear thing, I don't think they could ever do a sequel as good as Kojima could do. So I would hope for a Metal
I'm not
Gear
gonna lie.
Solid.
I don't think
What?
I don't think I can ever play a full game of like Kojima fucking Silent Hill. 'Cause that shit was freaky.
Yeah,
And that was
yeah.
like
It was
That's
good.
that
good, though.
village fucking demo way play was on par with that,
Yeah.
but that fucking thing was
I would want a Metal Gear collection, just like 1, 2,
okay,
3, like remastered. Like, I would want that shit.
What on piggybacking off of that, what would be amazing? It would be if they remade 3 to look like the pachinko machine. Have you seen the cutscenes for the pachinko?
Yeah, yeah,
Have you seen them? Dude, they're fucking gorgeous.
yeah.
Like, holy shit.
Pachinko is almost like playing a
Pachinko?
video game. It's just
Pachinko.
you just got slots. It's just slots with like video game graphics and shit.
No, dude, those were like beyond video game graphics. What do you mean?
Yeah.
Fucking hyper realistic jump scene from the beginning? Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So, any other predictions before we move on to the next article?
Hey, do me a favor.
What?
Just say that you predict Destiny 3 and have a shot with us. That's it.
I don't predict Destiny 3. They already announced the next
He said it.
expansion
He
for
said
the
it.
next
He
2
said it.
years.
He said it. He said it. He said it. Murderer says what?
And look, I can't.
Yeah, buddy. You want some?
There you go. I gotta make myself another drink, actually.
And I have to respike my peach tea.